As far as the eye can see, it is an expanse of natural beauty, a rich, diverse community with clear blue skies and a nearly constantly shining sun. This is Central Florida, home of hospitality and theme park magic. I'm Crystal Candy, and this is Destination Orange County. Today, we bring you a new perspective on this ever-developing community. We've asked area leaders to share their points of view from one of the best views in all of Central Florida. So join me as we take a trip into the clouds on the wheel at Icon Park, Orlando. Towering high above the Orlando horizon, the wheel is now one of the most recognizable landmarks in Central Florida. This stunning attraction opened in 2015 after 3 years of construction. Since then, thousands have enjoyed experiencing Orlando from 400 feet in the air. And this man, Icon Park CEO Chris Jaskiewicz, is taking his role to the next level. This Orlando native took the helm in 2018 after a successful entertainment law career in New York City. For Jaskiewicz, who grew up in the world's premier theme park destination, it's apparent his heart belongs in Orlando. His father, a Disney pioneer, his mother, an actress and singer, a fixture in the Orlando music scene in the 70s and 80s. It's that passion and special connection to this community that fuels his drive. Jaskiewicz hit the ground running, rebranding Icon Park and guiding his team through the challenges of the pandemic. I4 Business magazine named him the 2020 Tourism Business Leader of the Year and a 2021 CEO of the Year by the Orlando Business Journal. And now, our conversation with Chris Jaskiewicz. Hello and welcome to this iconic interview opportunity. What better way to interview Central Florida leaders and get their perspective from a completely unique perspective? Hundreds of feet in the air in a capsule in the wheel at Icon Park. We're so excited to be able to do this. And from our crew behind the scenes to the crew at Icon Park, a lot of work went in to be able to bring this to you today. So without further ado, I've got to bring on Chris Jaskiewicz, the president and CEO of Icon Park. First of all, thank you so much for everything that your folks did behind the scenes today to be able to allow us to shoot on here, because this is no easy feat.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. One of our corporate values is actual accessibility, flexibility, quality, and so we want to be flexible, and we have opportunities like this to sit down with people like you. So It's fun for us. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
This is exciting for us too, because there's really not a lot of opportunity to have a captive interviewer who...
This is scary.
You can't get away from the questions. But listen, I'm sure you've been on the wheel many a times being the president of this park. And this park has really been pretty instrumental in what happened during the pandemic and really getting locals back out again. And I know we'll get to that in a minute, but what is it like to see it today? To see dirt, construction crews, things opening up? What does that feel like?
Well, it's very gratifying. It really validates our thinking and our decisions as we were in the middle of the pandemic, because we knew we could open and we knew we could do it safely, and we knew that we could actually in some ways turn that crisis into an opportunity for us, for our tenants, and do it in a safe way. So we were very assertive. We were, I think, pretty bold about how we went about things. And I think now when we look at our record in 2021 versus even 2019, and we're all more successful than we were in 2019, which is pretty amazing.
What do you attribute that to?
To us, that validates our decisions that we basically participated in back in 2020.
I've read about you and I know a little bit about your backgrounds. You were here as a child growing up in Central Florida, then you went away for a time. What was it like to be back? Because you haven't been back that long, and to really take the reins of more of a day destination park.
Yeah, well, what is it like to be back? So personally, it's been just tremendous fun, because it's great to see old friends and family, and have my children meet the people that I grew up with. So it's been fun on that level. On the work front, short stay destinations are an important part of the fabric of entertainment in Central Florida. So it's just thrilling to be part of what has become a very important short stay destination and really the state.
And people think about the big three. Everybody talks about the big three. And especially during 2020, and you talked about an opportunity. And I remember coming here, I'm a local, and I love bringing my boys down here because we can do some fun stuff for the day. It was so important to get out of the house and to get somewhere that we felt safe. And this was somewhere where we felt safe.
Right. And we knew that we could do that. And we didn't have an 800-person risk analysis team in New York City or Los Angeles telling us what to do. We knew that we had a lot of furloughed employees that we had to look out for. We had a lot of tenants that had employees that were out of work. And we had an important mission, which was to provide entertainment for the Central Florida community. So we really wanted to open. And so look, in our business, in hospitality, it's process-driven. So if you're going to open in a pandemic, you add the important components to your process. The social distancing, the mask wearing, the compliance with the CDC guidelines. And in some ways, it was easy because we're so process-driven anyway, right? And once we were confident that we could protect our own employees, keep them safe, because that was number one. We have to keep our own people safe with our processes. Then we knew we could keep our guests safe. So we did it, and we were very bold about it, and they let us open, and we haven't looked back since.
So with that concept, and I know there was a lot of things behind the scenes that you did, partnering with the community leaders around here with the different agencies to say, let's put these protocols in place. We want to open back up, and you were very proactive. That's paid off tremendously.
It has. And we look back at that phase with nothing but respect for our government leaders, both state and local, because they struck the perfect balance between safety and what was good for business in a responsible way. And they led those of us who felt and showed. They actually came and inspected us before they let us open. So we had to prove it to them. So I have nothing but respect for all of the government leaders and the committees that were formed during that process.
And all your
Very
people,
impressive.
I'm sure. I remember interviewing some of the food vendors, and they were really having to, pivot and to do things differently. Now that things are starting to, we've had a few hiccups here and there. I remember even speaking to you and John Goodman that you were starting to see numbers in 2020 because this is an open air park and locals were really hungry to come back. 2020 started to really pick up towards the end.
It did. So we have a lot of smart people on our team, and so we developed some good messaging. Open air, gate free, great easy access parking. We're right by all the highways. I-4, the B, we used to call it the B line, now we call it the beach line.
I still call it the B line sometimes.
Turnpike.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get here. And we don't have a complicated online registration system. You don't have to crack the nuclear code to come to Icon Park, right?
That's important.
We started building that into our messaging to the locals and to let them know that this is a perfect place to come visit. It's easy.
And it worked out.
It's affordable. There's a diversity of experiences. Yes, it did work out.
And tell me a little bit about what makes Icon Park special. First of all, now we have reached about the top of the wheel, so we are now 400 feet in the air. I mean, we can see everything. I can see the VAB over at Kennedy Space Center. I mean, Epcot, of course. You can see the big globe. What's it like to be up here and to just have this perspective?
Well, yeah, you ask what makes Icon Park special, and I think that it is the diversity of the experiences. So we have tenant partners, probably 60 tenants, and many of them are owned by some of the world's leading hospitality companies. So each of them are bringing their A game into their concepts here on property, whether it's Darden, which is one of the biggest restaurant companies in the world, with their Yard House, whether it's Ryman Hospitality, which owns the Grand Ole Opry. Well, they and Blake Shelton own Ole Red. Sugar Factory, one of the best restaurant entertainment brands around, is here, right? So it goes on. Shake Shack, Buffalo Wild Wings, Merlin Entertainment owns Sea Life and Madame Tussauds. So we have some of the best players in the industry with locations here, and their staff, their management, and their executives are very focused. So it's good. We also have different types of food, obviously, whether it's Mexican or tapas or American. And then we have a different mix of tenants. Some are attractions, some are bars, some are live entertainment, some are great restaurants, some are fast casual, some are long dining. So that's what makes us different. That's what makes us different.
It's really something for everyone.
It is. Daytime, we view ourselves as a family entertainment center. We have so many children. I mean, to see the opening of Build-A-Bear, which is one of the best children's brands around.
I love Build-A-Bear.
And the lines for the wheel, because kids love the wheel, adults love the wheel. To see the lines at the Sea Life Aquarium in the daytime. But at night, we evolve into the entertainment district. And that's adults are partying here.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about
hot.
The entertainment district, because things are shifting, and you were really a part of that shift with your marketing to say, this is not a tourist destination per se, this is an entertainment destination.
Right.
We've got everything.
Well, Crystal, I remember Church Street Station in the 80s and even in the 70s, and it was one of the best entertainment districts in the country. Famous. Out-of-town visitors would go downtown to visit Church Street Station.
I remember going there as a teenager.
That's how big it was. Yeah. Exactly. It was so successful that Disney created a similar one in the 90s called Pleasure Island. So they're both no longer in business. So we have inherited that mantle of the entertainment district. And when I say we, it's not just Icon Park. It's our neighborhood. We have King's Bowling next to us. We have the Titanic Museum down the road.
That's phenomenal, by the way.
It is. And we have one of the best, known as one of the best putt-putt golf spots at Pirates Cove right next to us. We have Ripley's, believe it or not. I mean, these are not on Icon Park property.
It's just within steps.
Right, and it's the entertainment district, and it's now the Orlando Entertainment District, branded, and locals have rediscovered it. International Drive is not just for tourists, it is for locals, and they come here. I mean, look, we've got 3 or 4 spots with live entertainment every night. Where else can you get that? And that's not being fed by tourism only. It's mostly locals.
So, I can't let you go without asking you to talk a little bit about growing up here. Because you had what I would consider probably the coolest childhood ever. Because your dad worked for Disney.
He
Tell
did.
me a little bit about growing up like that.
My dad started with Disney when he was 21, 1967. He started in Denver, Colorado. Disney had a spot in Denver. And then they moved to Orlando in 73. His first office was at what is now Disney Springs, but it was the woods of Lake Buena Vista. So one of his first jobs was manager of River Country, which was the world's first water park.
I remember River Country.
Remember that?
I do.
It was the world's first. It wasn't Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild was not the first. River Country was the first. A year ahead of Wet n Wild. And yeah, I tested the rides before it opened.
And how old were you?
I was probably 8 or 9 or something.
I mean...
Yeah. And I would come to work with my dad during summers and with a friend and just play at the park. And and then I worked. Well, first I worked on International Drive. It was my second job. And then probably my jobs 3 through 6 were at Disney. Landscaping, bartending, waiters, waiter. I learned a lot.
I really think that when people are able to understand all of the different jobs that support those at the top, you really have such a deeper understanding for the aspect of the team and all of the people who make this big magic happen. And that really probably fueled your passion in how you operate Icon Park today.
Well, look, I had the good fortune. I accomplished my goal of practicing law at one of the top entertainment and sports lawyers or law firms in New York City. I did it. And then a client hired me, and I was with that client for 15 years. It was real estate industry, where we did some entertainment work. But I think back to my time as a frontline employee, probably more frequently than I think about my time being an entertainment lawyer in my current role. Because it's just the detail involved and necessary, the importance of engaging with the guests, understanding the attention of detail, and how important impressions are to guests, the whole guest experience. And when you grow up here, that's why I think Orlando's just a great place to grow up for children, because if they're paying attention, they can learn a lot. When I took my Orlando experience with me to Manhattan, I relied on that a lot through my career in New York City and all the things that I've done in my career. And now it's, coming back, that's kind of been clear to me. And it's eye-opening. That's what I tell my children. Pay attention to what's going on here, because this is a special spot. Orlando is a very special area.
It really is. And I mean, even when we're up here and you look around, we have so much to offer. It's not just the convention center. It's not just the big 3 theme parks. I mean, there is, take your pick. You could be entertained every single day.
I mean, look, Disney is amazing, and they've certainly elevated Orlando from a terrific destination to an internationally known destination. But it was popular before Disney. I mean, you had Cypress Gardens, the Winter Park Boat Tour, you had Gatorland, you had Weeki Wachee, you had a lot of key, short stay destinations already thriving in Central Florida. And by the way, that's why Walt picked Orlando.
Because of all of the short stay destinations?
Well, because he knew that it was a success. It was an area that was easy to get to, and that he could see the track record of the other spots.
I know you just saw your dad recently. What does he think about the way that this community has grown?
Sure, he's still a little fuzzy with some of the streets. He hasn't been here in a long time, but it's just amazing. It's amazing growth.
What do you see for the future? I mean, we see the construction. I know, there's more to come here. The land of the giants, as you'd like to call it.
I know. We have 4 rides that are among the tallest in the world that are going to be right here at Icon Park. And it's nice because they frame the restaurants and bars here, so it's going to be very unique. It's going to be very unique. And we've got 4 or 5 other tenants that are in the process of opening. They're building out their spaces. Sloppy Joe's, which is an iconic brand out of Key West. We have Brother Jimmy's, which is a super famous barbecue spot out of Manhattan. We have a new family entertainment group concept that's going to be opening on property. Yeah, we have a lot of new tenants coming in and opening, adding to the mix. That's what we do. We curate an experience for the guests, and we do our own vetting of tenants, and we know they vet us. So we make sure that they know everything that we're doing here. It's classic business to consumer marketing, but we also business to business marketing to keep attracting fascinating tenants who can pay good rent.
Rent is important, isn't it? So one more question as we close. Who are the better drivers, New York or Orlando? Come on.
Definitely New York.
Are you serious?
Definitely New York.
Although I was on I-4 yesterday, I was like, whoa.
Definitely New York.
I had to ask the really hard-hitting question.
Right. You know why? Do you know why? Because everyone drives fast in New York.
You got no choice.
Everyone's fast. You don't have some fast and some slow. So as long as everyone's doing the same speed, it's better. Whether it's fast, slow, or medium.
I mean, looking at I-4, I had to ask you that question. You know what? I can't close without giving you an opportunity to really give a shout out to your team, because securing this large apparatus and making sure it's safe for guests every night is no easy feat. And then to have a TV crew on and to reconfigure the cabin, those guys really work their tails off.
Thank you.
Thank you to them.
It's a terrific team. They are the best. And that, thank God we had that team assembled as we entered into the crisis, which the pandemic was a crisis. And we had the right team, and they're all still with us. And they're great. So thank you.
I know we can't stay up here forever, so I want to thank you for hosting us and the whole entire team at Icon Park for letting this big TV crew and all of our lights, come on here to the capsule, and for being able to provide a unique perspective for all of you out here of what a tremendous, beautiful community we really have here. So thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. It's our pleasure.
And thank you guys. Please join us again next time.